Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm sharing with you how I make corned beef Puerto Rican style. I know we're kind of like in that awkward stage of the day where it's starting to sunset a little bit, so please bear with me. Hopefully you can still see as clearly as possible, but we're going to go over these ingredients briefly. So I have here a handful of cilantro, and we're going to go ahead and mince this up and wash it really well. I also have here some green peppers that I have cut julienne style. You can add more or less to your liking if you enjoy that. If you enjoy the green peppers, you can add green peppers, yellow peppers, red peppers, whichever you prefer. And then here I have about, I would say about a third cup of, or a quarter cup of minced onions that we're gonna go ahead and add there. We have one little envelope of sazón Goya. On this area right here, we have some potatoes that we cut in French fry style. You can add more or less to your style. Some tomato sauce, some canned corned beef. We have some beef bouillon or caldo de res. We have some minced garlic, and we have a sofrito here. And if you're not familiar with sofrito, I will link in the cards up top what my sofrito recipe is so that you can make it yourself, which is way better than any store-bought sofrito. So let's jump in, so let's go right ahead to the stove and share with you what I'm going to be doing from this moment on. I am starting with a pan with medium-high heat and a tablespoon of olive oil into my pan. Once my pan is warmed and the olive oil, I'm adding half of chopped onion into my pan to start cooking that until it is translucent. You're going to see that I have this pot that I'm filling with water. We're going to bring that up to a boil, and the potatoes that I had cut French fried style, we're going to be adding those into that water. So you want to make sure you have that nice and going there. We're going to add some salt into the boiling water and get those potatoes cooking. Maybe about 10 minutes or so. At this point, the onion should be translucent, so we're going to be adding about a teaspoon of minced garlic. If you have it in a squeezy tube like this, I just eyeball everything, but I do love some garlic, so I don't mind adding a little bit more to taste. But if you're mincing the garlic yourself, you could use up to 2 cloves of garlic and mince it yourself and add it to the pan. As that is cooking, I am opening up my can of corned beef and I'm going to dump that into my pan. With a wooden spoon, you want to use that and start breaking into the corned beef into your pan until it's almost dissolved. And as you're cooking, you're going to go ahead and continue to do and use that same technique and cut into the corned beef. Now I'm getting the can here and I'm using that kind of as a measuring cup, and I'm going to use half of that can of water and pour it into my pan as it continues to cook and I continue to break down that corned beef. Now I'm adding half of a cube of beef bouillon into my pan. Now corned beef is salty, so you don't want to add any excessive salt. This is the reason why I only used half of bouillon. You see an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. I'm only going to be using only half of the 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. Continuing to break down the meat as you're cooking. If you do need to adjust your heat to a medium-low temperature, go ahead and do that. You do not want to burn your corned beef as you are cooking it. I'm going to be using some sofrito into my corned beef. This sofrito, I made it from scratch. I do have a recipe that I'll include in the cards up top. I'm adding about 2 tablespoons of sofrito here. Some people like a little bit more, some people like a little bit less, but I did add 2 tablespoons to my corned beef recipe here. Then I'm grabbing my little envelope of sazón Goya, shaking it really well, and putting that into my pan. As that continues to cook, I'm just going to sprinkle some green peppers. If you have yellow peppers, red peppers, orange peppers, and you want to add those, cut them up and add them as well. I have chopped up a handful of cilantro and I'm just sprinkling those babies up in my pan. Here's a better view of the corned beef as it is cooking. It's got that beautiful reddish color with those pops of green from the cilantro and the peppers, and on the back burner I have the potatoes boiling. They should be almost done cooking at this point, so I'm going to add that into my pan. In my particular recipe right here, I'm using the potatoes and I am going to be folding those into the corned beef so that all of those flavors can mix very well. Now you can make this recipe as well with sweet plantains and it tastes just as delicious. This corned beef recipe accompanies so well with white rice and beans. If this is a recipe that you have tried in the past, let us know in the comment section below. But if you haven't, I would hope that you would share the video, save it, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Thank you so much for watching. Buen provecho, and I'll see you guys in the next one.